What's up guys, it's Tube and it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the Diamond & Pearl remakes, and here are my honest thoughts on it. I've looked at the footage again and again editing the last few videos, so I've gathered my thoughts on what I think about this game. Let me just start off by saying I like the graphics, but before that, one thing I was scared about Game Freak is that it seemed like they're on this course for just blindly trying to improve the graphics of their game. And I was wondering if they're ashamed of the original graphics that made Pokemon and were just trying to escape it. The moment they upgraded to X and Y graphics, I was fine with those graphics, and they just continued to upgrade it more and more. Monster and Omri talked about during the Sun and Moon hype season that they're constantly trying to push the limits of the 3DS, and that's what Sun and Moon was. I was always scared Game Freak didn't have an actual grasp on Pokemon and was always upgrading their graphics because they thought hands down that was the most important thing. So my reaction when Dawn first popped up in Chibi graphics was actual excitement, and then it slowly got confusing for me. So my thoughts on the Diamond & Pearl remix is that I like the graphics. I don't have a problem with the Chibis, but there's one big problem, and it's in our player sprite model, or our player 3D model. And as I look at it more and more, some people talk about the maybe arms being too long or something, but for me, the problem with our little Chibi model is that it looks like a Mii character. If you look, every location they showed in that trailer looked really good. The Chibi graphics work excellently, and I was a fan of the Chibi graphics in X and Y, but it's just that our Chibi model in this game needs some touch-ups. It's definitely a risky approach, but it's something good that Game Freak is noticing and trying to take a creative approach instead of just constantly and blindly improving the graphics. You saw it with Sword and Shield. Game Freak is Game Freak. It took them a while to catch up to the Breath of the Wild-like graphics in the Pokemon Legends Arceus game, but that was never Game Freak's strong suit. Their strong suit was being creative and focusing back on a creative approach rather than constantly trying to upgrade the graphics. I think was kind of cool, but they're also still upgrading the graphics and improving their work on that so they can make better and better games with this new mainline-like series game. So those are my thoughts. I absolutely love the way the games look, and to add to that, I don't know if I wanted to say this in a different video, but I think it's such a powerhouse move if we have these chibi graphics but Mega Evolution is introduced again, and so you walk around with your little animated 2D like model, but when you enter battle, it's just beautiful sounds. We can Mega Evolve, Mega Electivire, Mega Infernape, a powerhouse just in the form of these chibi graphics as you walk around in the overworld. I've mentioned this in a previous video, but some of the stuff in X and Y in the initial trailer looked a bit awkward, like the camera angle when the character's walking, and they changed that for the final release. I know what direction Masuda was taking. If you stare at this Dawn model long enough, it looks fine. So the Game Freak team probably just stared at the model and were working on it for so long that they don't realize when they take a step back and look at it as a fan seeing it for the first time that the bobble-headed Mii part of it is noticeable. So if they refine that, keep the Chibi, I have no problem with that. If they refine it, do the minimalistic facial expressions right, the games will be really good. There's my thoughts, but now I need to see the thoughts of everyone else. This is my favorite part of the day. I don't want to be that guy, but I honestly hoped for a reimagined Sinnoh, not just a one-to-one recreation for the remakes. 6.4k upvotes. What has always excited me the most about the prospect of getting Sinnoh Remakes was the potential changes to how the original locations looked. I reveled at the idea of seeing familiar Sinnoh locations reimagined in a modern generation style after 15 years. This is a total fair opinion, because the way the games look right now, what's scary about recreating it exactly as it is now is, okay, for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the DS engine is so much better looking than Gold and Silver, so there's a strong push to wanting to play it. With Auras, the game has Mega Evolution and it's in 3D compared to Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah, I'd want to play it, but for games like this, it's reimagined and has the same minimalistic approach as the original Diamond and Pearl. That, for example, the top comment here says that I just rather play Platinum. If you think about it, the DS Pokemon game graphics are good enough to enjoy, and this is very close to that, which is why I think if Mega Evolution were in this game, and if being faithful to Diamond and Pearl is just the start and there's many more things they're gonna show us, that's the best case scenario. The most disappointing part of the Diamond and Pearl remakes for me is the fact that we may never see a modern Sinnoh. Does this mean we won't get a modern Unova as well? God. Leave Unova alone for now. This is a valid point as well. We are gonna see Sinnoh in 3D, but it's ancient Sinnoh, like 2,000–3,000 years old, and Mount Coronet is peaking above the clouds back in those times, and of course a lot of the structures wouldn't be built. Maybe Snow Point City, the Regigigas Temple and all will still be built, but that's pretty much what the other side of Game Freak is trying to do. With people who want to see a Sinnoh region in reimagined 3D, that's the game they wanted to showcase it off in, and for their main project they wanted to take a different approach. But I feel like it's not like we went back to the dinosaur days in Sinnoh for Pokemon Legends Arceus. People are still around. A professor gives us our Pokemon, we're human. I feel like they're still gonna be like the precursor to civilizations in all the different places in Sinnoh. All the spots, Veilstone City, Eterna City, might still exist, just in a village form. Of course, it's different than if the modern version of Sinnoh existed, but it's most of the way there. Now, if the entire game is just a wild area, then that'll get a bit odd. What worries me is that these games might be nothing more than Diamond and Pearl with new graphics. This is exactly my worry. See, with my YouTube videos, I'm always trying to take the confirmed, factual approach before speculating ideas. So far, factually, there are no gimmicks in these games. They are just faithful Diamond and Pearl remakes, and it may be literally Pokemon Diamond and Pearl with no changes aside from being revamped in 3D, and that's a big fear. But that's why I said that we have 10 months ahead of us. There is no way, even if factually right now, there's no hint there's more to the table and that Megs will be introduced and all that. We have about 10 months until the games come out. They have so many trailers to drop. There is no way it is gonna be an exact just remake with revamped graphics of Diamond and Pearl. There has to be so many changes, especially Masuda being the director of this. There's two approaches. One, Masuda is the director because he's gonna do a big job with these remakes. But the second approach is that Masuda is the director because Game Freak and Pokemon gave this project to ICLA, which, with doing more research, it's not just like a Tencent like company. They seem to have some Pokemon experience and they helped with other games like Dragon Quest XI, but I don't think they've ever had any major projects. So it's almost like ILCA is just gonna be like a mini Game Freak. More information needs to come out about that. So yeah, either Masuda is the director because it's given to a new company and he needs to make sure they do a good job, or there's a lot of stuff this game has for us, so he wants to take the front seat for that. Can we all agree to showing Game Freak that we are okay with delays? We're okay with delays. Game Freak is not okay with delays. They need that money. They're gonna do it every year, man. You're not gonna stop them. Okay, so for example, this screenshot here, this is such a good part of the game to showcase in the trailer. It just looks fun and animated, and you want to continue your journey. You want to move forward with the plot, but only if it's backed up that in the battle screen we have Mega Evolutions and it's jam-packed with a bunch of stuff. This needs to be the base, the bread of many more toppings on top that Game Freak will announce. I think I get what makes me hate the overworld models. It's mainly the lack of personality. Yeah, the faces, even if simplistic, need to show more expression. The characters like Rowan need to put their hands behind their back. I mean, that was in the sprite, wasn't it? So his hand should be behind his back. So yeah, guys, all in all, the majority of the internet just hasn't caught on to what the excitement in these graphics will be. So it just needs to be shown by Game Freak in the upcoming trailers that there's gonna be so much more this game has to offer. Hopefully Mega Evolutions, but hopefully a ton of new stuff in the next 10 months. The real winner of the new art style of BDSP. Just imagine Cyrus and his dead cold eyes in Chibi form. We need Megas, man. We need Megas. I want to see AZ in this game, dude. I want to see double cheeseburger size Chibi AZ. Let me see other opinions people have. I'm heavily disappointed that there is no character creation. Why would there be? If you're heavily disappointed by this of all things, then good. Seems you're liking the Chibi graphics. I think they should have everyone be Chibi, then just rip Cynthia's model out of Ultra Sun and stick with that. That's terrifying, bro. It's like she's a titan. She just walking down the stairs. What's with the sassy lost child? What's going on here? She's on the toy conveyor belt. Could you imagine going up to Cynthia in the champion room and she's normal sized? Alright, y'all let me know your thoughts on this. It's obvious the underlying message going throughout the fanbase is that people would have preferred actual full-scale 3D like we have with Legends Arceus, but the Chibis are an intentional creative approach and I want to see where they'll go from here, and I like the Chibis. And in my opinion, they will own the art style of the Chibis and all that the moment Megas and Primals and all that are introduced into it. I'm hoping that's what their plan down the line is. If you don't like Chibis, I don't want to convince you. I want you to grow to like them and form your own opinion along the way. But I like Chibis, and I know that these are obviously the superior graphics and that they took a creative approach by doing Chibis in this, and I'm down for it. Anyhow, y'all shank that like button, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
This the sound of my alchemy, the greatest success for all those who fell for me. I always respect the friends who wish well for me and live until the end and die. All time will tell for me, but I ain't going anywhere, believe me.